Wow. Well, hey, gang. Hey, thanks for coming. We're here to talk movies this morning. My name's TJ Faddis, and I am Bainbridge Island's movie maven, and ran the Linwood Theater for a number of years, and I'm showing movies, curating movies with Bainbridge Island Museum of Art. And hopefully we'll get back to gathering in person soon. So, Reed and Janet asked me to talk about movies, some movies that probably haven't crossed your radar. These movies will be on Amazon Prime, for sure. Possibly Netflix. I don't know what's on Netflix because I'm not a member, or available free online. I'll let you know. One of the first movies I wanted to talk about, Brian Dennehy, the actor, passed away recently, and his very last movie is called Driveways. And it's a sweet film of a Asian American little boy with a single mother who comes into the neighborhood. The mother is cleaning out her sister's home. Her sister has died. Her sister was a hoarder. And so he ends up making friends with the next door neighbor, Brian Dennehy. It's Justin Chang of NPR really liked it. It's a sweet little film. It's called Driveways. Brian Dennehy, you may remember, he played in Cocoon, Never Cry Wolf, and Gorky Park. He was football stature type of guy, big guy, yeah. So I recommend Driveways. It's on Amazon Prime. If you come across a movie and you're wondering if it's any good, there are two places you can go to get some feedback. My favorite place to check on a movie is Metacritic.com. And they have vetted film reviewers, New York Times, Washington Post, Kenneth Turan, my favorite, and Justin Chang. And they give an aggregate total rating to a film based on everybody's reviews. The other place you could go is Rotten Tomatoes. And I used that for a number of years, but they don't always vet their film reviewers. So you might get, Joe Blow from Kokomo giving his opinion and adding to the tomato rating. Not that I have any problems with Joe Blow from Kokomo if he exists, but yeah. So what I thought, I put together a small series for BEMA when this COVID thing first occurred, sort of as an escapist, and I called this series Crimedies. These are crime comedies, and I had 4 of them in the package, starting with The Lady Killers from 1955. If anyone has ever seen that. Oh, Janet, you're here. Are you talking? No, shit. Okay, we'll read lips. Christopher would love this aspect of you right now. Yes. So in honor of Janet, I selected The Lady Killers from 1955, British comedy from Ealing Studios, one of their best. Stars Alec Guinness. Katie Johnson plays the little old lady, and she's adorable. It has Herbert Lom, Peter Sellers,
Wow.
And it's about this guy who rents a room from this little old lady, right? And she's clueless as he brings in these other guys, and they're planning a heist, and they rope her in to the heist. And she, she's just the sweetest little gal. And is she going to foil their plans? Is basically the premise. My favorite bit is the opening scene, which defines Katie's character when she bends over and looks into a pram to see the baby. And that just sets the scene for this outrageous, fun little comedy called The Lady Killers from 1955. It has steam trains in it. Don't confuse it with the Coen Brothers version that came out over the last, 15 years. It's not nearly as good as this. Another movie I recommend in the Crimedy series is How to Steal a Million with Peter O'Toole and Audrey Hepburn, and a little actor called, well, he's not so little, called Mustache because of that big feature on his face. It's about it's a caper of a daughter having to save her art forger of a father from exposure and a disaster by stealing one of his forgeries from the art museum. She hires a burglar to help her, but this said handsome burglar is actually a detective who has every intention of bringing down both Audrey Hepburn and her father. My favorite bit, and it is a comedy. My favorite bit is just Peter O'Toole and Audrey Hepburn in a closet under the stairs in the art museum. And here are the two most beautiful people on the planet interacting. And it is such a delight. They are at their peak performance. Also, Mustache steals every scene he's in. So, How to Steal a Million from 1966. I put Get Shorty in the list. John Travolta, James Gandolfini's very first film. Gene Hackman, Danny DeVito, Rene Russo, Dennis Farina, Delroy Lindo, and directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, 1995. It's rated R for language. It's about a Miami loan shark who is sent to LA to collect a debt from a director, B-grade director. Oh, are we on?
Yes, you're on.
Oh, good. Okay. Let me do this. Beep, beep. Okay. Oh, I can't see anybody. The screensaver kicked on.
Up above, they should say people, and you could check on that one.
There's nothing to check on, girlfriend. The screensaver kicked on the computer. And
I can hear you fine and see you.
All right. Well, then we'll just keep going.
Hear you, see you just fine. Also, I'd like to recommend the book Get Shorty by Elmore Leonard. It's a great read. It's hilarious.
Nice. I would like to read that. Thanks for the recommendation, Bob. Yeah.
My pleasure.
I think my favorite scene in the movie is Gene Hackman when he takes a meeting at the restaurant with Chili Palmer and everybody, and he's fresh out of the hospital after getting his butt kicked. And he's in so much pain that it hurts him to even part his lips and try to speak, right? And that scene always gets me laughing. And the last film I recommend in the Crimedy series is called The Guard. And here's a little film that you probably haven't heard about. It's from 2011, and it stars Brendan Gleeson and Don Cheadle.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you seen it, Sheila?
Yes, I did see it.
Oh, I thought it was so much fun. I mean, it's rated R for every reason. Language, some violence. It's more violent than the others I've recommended. But this put both director John Michael McDonagh and the actor Brendan Gleeson on the international map with this film. It's about an unorthodox Irish cop with a confrontational personality who's partnered up with an uptight FBI agent, Don Cheadle, to investigate an international drug smuggling ring. It's the edgiest of the four films, and it derives its humor from the juxtaposition between Irish and American cultures and from the earnest drive of the FBI agent versus the casual attitude of the Irish cop. So anyway, it's pretty funny. And let's see, what anyone want to chime in with some of their favorite crime movies, crime comedies?
Well, I thought the remake of Ocean's 11 was great with George Clooney and Brad Pitt.
Oh, nice. Okay. Hey, love, Faddis, do you know how to turn off the screensaver? It's plugged in.
Hi, Charlie.
Oh. Okay. Now I can see everybody. Yep, we're good. Thank you, love. I'll click this button if I disappear. Yay!
But you can probably turn it off on system preferences.
Well, that's okay.
I can figure out whether you click or press this both.
Okay. Like, oh, and Tessa likes In Bruges. That is a strong film. That was really well done. Yeah. That too has an R rating for every reason. And Ralph Fiennes, who knew he could be such a mean-spirited guy? Yeah, wow. Yeah. Janet, can you talk now? I know the one that you're talking about. It's oh my gosh, it has that handsome guy. And it was a remake of the Steve McQueen movie. It's about insurance fraud, the art. It's my son's favorite film.
It was the Thomas Crown Affair.
That's it.
Thomas Crown Affair.
Yeah.
Well done, Lawrence. Yes. The Thomas Crown Affair. Yeah.
It was good.
One of my favorite things to show are small, independent foreign films. And I get a lot of fodder, creative fodder from the Seattle International Film Festival, which should have been starting today. This would have been opening day. So let me share with you some of the films that I saw last year from the Seattle International Film Festival. And I put this in a series with Bima, and I called the series I Never Saw It Coming. And it was either a twist in plot, a twist in character, or a truth that is uttered that absolutely stops your heart for 1 second. So these are really interesting little films, I think. Though my first recommendation is See You Up There. It's French. It's if it was on Amazon Prime, it may still be on Amazon Prime. I can't quite tell. And it's also on Vudu and YouTube and Google Play. See You Up There. It came out in 2018, I believe, 2018. French film. The director is one of the main characters. He wrote and directed this movie, and it's about two men in World War I. One is a very rich young man who joined the war to upset his rich father. And he is badly injured. He's disfigured. And so for the rest of the movie, he's going to be wearing masks, these most elaborate, gorgeous masks. And he's so flamboyant and wonderful. And he and this other guy who saved him are going to embark on a monumental scam against France. It's a fascinating piece of work. It's the most visual, unusual. You never know where it's going. And then you never see it coming. So, see you up there. Another lovely one is an Egyptian film from 2019 called Yomeddine, Yomeddine, Yomeddine. And this is an interesting film because the protagonist is not an actor. It's about a man who has the scars of leprosy, although he's cured. And for a series of events, he leaves the leper colony to find the family who left him 40 years prior. It's a beautiful film. He has a little sidekick by the name of Obama, who's a hoot, and he has his donkey, Harvey. And it's one of those things, as you watch the movie, you kind of are noticing the scarring of the leprosy. But before long, you're just looking at the man and his heart and his soul. And it is really wonderful, called Yomeddine. A fun little film called Tel Aviv on Fire. It's done by a Palestinian director who lives in Israel. And he has friends and family on both sides of the wall, Israeli-Palestinian wall. And he does this tightrope walk of Palestinian-Israeli relations. Tel Aviv on Fire is a fictitious soap opera, Palestinian soap opera, that's also watched by Jews in Israel. And as this young man who slowly becomes a writer on the soap opera series meets this officer at a checkpoint. This Israeli officer tries to sway the tone and tenor and the outcome of this soap opera series.
Oh my gosh.
It's outrageous, it's funny, anyway, and it takes a very deft hand to pull this off, and the director does, without a doubt.
You get that.
And so, and then as a retrospective, I threw in the title and the film, The Man on the Train, from 2003. It's Jean Rochefort and Johnny Hallyday. Johnny Hallyday was he was dubbed the French Elvis. He brought rock and roll to France in the 1960s. Here he is in 2003. He's got, wow, his face just looks like he did a lot of hard living, right? And he plays this mysterious stranger who comes in on a train and is befriended by Jean Rochefort's character, who is a teacher. He lives in his parents' home. His parents are long gone. And both of them have a date with destiny on Saturday. Jean Rochefort, he'll tell you what his destiny is on Saturday. He's going in for an operation. Johnny does not share. He's been on Saturday. And watch it
There's a lot of no
through
place.
end
You say it.
because it kind of ends and then it really ends. And that's when it shot my heart up to the moon. It was so perfect. So, The Man on the Train, highly
I
recommend.
like that a lot, TJ. That was great.
Oh, yay, I'm glad you did, Sheila. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love that. Oh, and one thing, here's something that comes from the Quirky Musical series. Look for, on Amazon Prime, Bathtubs Over Broadway. Has anyone seen this delightful musical documentary? A writer from the David Letterman show. He's a shy, nerdy guy, but he's very funny. Shares his passion of coming across these commercial and musicals, not Broadway musicals. These are musicals put together for commercial purposes to sell automobiles, refrigerators, farm tractors, and companies putting a lot of money to have these big corporate events with a full musical with actors and singers presenting their product. And it's a history, millions and millions of dollars. And this guy he's got recordings, he's got, not just phonograph recordings, but he also has tracked down some footage from this time. And he shares this with you. All the while you see David Letterman. He talks about this writer guy. I'm sorry, I forgot his name right now. And this guy tracks down some of the people who appeared in these musicals, like Cheetah Rivera, Martin Short, and he even tracks down the lady who sings My Bathroom. And there's a song you won't forget, My Bathroom. And especially for folks in our age group, I know you guys will love it. Yes, I wouldn't recommend it to my son who's 35, but for us, it really takes us back. We lived there. So, Bathtubs Over Broadway. And let's see. Here's another delightful documentary called Scotch, A Golden Dream. It's on Amazon. I met the director at the Seattle Festival in 2018. His name is Andrew Pete, which is a great last name when you're making a documentary about Scotch, because what do they always talk about? The peaty flavor in the Scotch. Now, I'm no fan of Scotch. Can't drink the stuff, can't get it past my nose or down my throat. But I loved this documentary. It not only talks about the drink and the allure and how it's made and the people in it, but it also is a travelogue of Scotland itself. And you have 90 minutes of these wonderful Scottish accents as people talk about Scotch and the women in Scotch. There are women working in that industry as well. And focuses on Jim McEwen, who had been in the Scotch industry ever since he was, 16? And he's, it's now 50 years later. He founded a Scotch called Bruichladdich on the Isle of Lewis. They talk about the barley. They talk about the sea air coming in and all the salt-laden sea air that comes in and settles in the barley that then goes into the Scotch. It's just fascinating, just delightful. So, Scotch, A Gold Dream. And then another delight retrospective, this one was the most requested film to bring to BEMA. The Wild Parrots of Telegraph Hill.
Oh,
from
yes.
2003. Oh, it's a total heart.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about Mark Bittner, who is a middle-aged guy, sort of living hand to mouth, has no direction in life, and he befriends these wild parrots on Telegraph Hill, and he names them, feeds them, and it gives him a purpose. And Judy Irving, who is the director who found Mark and made this documentary, she records this transformation in this man. And the lovely thing, I'll tell you now, because it doesn't say it in the movie, but it was a big revelation at the time, Mark and Judy ended up marrying at the end of the movie. And they're still married to this day. And Judy did another documentary called Pelican Dreams, which is also on Amazon, because she loves pelicans. And so if you want to spend 90 minutes with some pelicans, Pelican Dreams. So
You showed the Parrots one at Linwood.
I did. It was really one of the more popular ones.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we had that for 4 weeks.
I was there then. That was great.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were by my side. And
Me.
what?
Lucky me.
And I know you probably want to stop about now, so I'm just going to do one more. The Sound of Noise is from 2010. It's a Swedish crimedy. It's the most outrageous thing you ever see in your life. The story is about a music-hating cop who has to track down a group of guerrilla percussionists who are inundating the city with their anarchic concerts. And they just, oh my God, it's absurd. It's wonderful. It's funny as can be. And the that they bring about is, so this noise. That should get you through a week or two. Box of pretzels. I'd be good for 2 weeks.
Excuse me. The movies that you told that were the independent films, where do you get those? Can you get those or not?
Most of them are they're on Prime. I made sure to use titles that are on Prime, except for the See You Up There. Remember that one, the first one I talked about, that French film? If I can't tell from the description if it's on Prime or have to join something else, but I do, and YouTube and Google Play. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. And Janet, I'm coming back next week, right? It's Thursday? Good. So if you see one of them, and I mean, nice. Oh, let me know what you give me back next week. I'd love to hear it with you, even if you don't like it. That sometimes can be fun, and I don't know why you didn't like it. Or every once in a while, you'll watch them that just kind of hit you on the wrong day. I've had that happen. I remember with Robin Williams, where Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah. First time I saw it, I didn't care for it, but I was suffering from some minor food poisoning that time. So It wasn't his fault. So, what are some good things that you guys have been watching?
I do want to let you know, TJ, I tried Parasite again. I really did. I tried it. I got it at home, and I still meh. I'm sorry. I mean, I understand all of the ramifications of the social, all of that kind of stuff, but I saw no reason for it under the sun. Really, it was all right.
Yeah, it turns into a disturbing film. What seems like a lot gets very, very fast. And my friend Vicki Wilson and I were talking about it afterwards and asking, what did the director want us to take away from film? And we couldn't hone anything down. But you're not the only person who's told me they don't care for Parasite. I mean, that one is an acquired taste, for sure. And I don't know if I need to see it again.
Yeah, well, I won't do it for a third time because I figure I tried again because you told me I should do that when I talked to you about it. So I did.
Yeah.
And I came open-minded. I really did. But sorry.
Yep. No, yeah, absolutely. That one is not for all tastes. Janet, did you read Janet's comment that she had seen it, but wouldn't recommend it? I mean, it does spark conversation, but then, yeah. Well,
we've been binging on A Place to Call Home on Acorn, and kind of been addicted to that. I think it's 6 seasons long. We're in season 5 right now.
Wow.
Really enjoying that.
Is it a British series?
It's Australian.
Oh, nice. Right.
It's about an Australian family in the.
I like Australian films.
We're really enjoying that. And then
Nice.
prior to that, we binged on Harry Bosch on Amazon. So, yeah, this stay-at-home situation has we've been binging a lot on TV.
Nice.
Keeping us busy.
Yeah. I mean, of all things that we're called on to do is to stay at home and watch movies. That's so bad, right? Yes.
Oh yeah, tie my hands behind my back and make me do it.
Oh.
Here I am.
Oh, Janet's recommending as a series to watch. I read the books. She's a good writer. What's her name? Margaret George, I think. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Richard, what are you watching these days? I'll bet he'll come to us. He'll turn on his mic.
I'm watching Billions on Amazon. No, it's on Showtime. Billions. It's a series, which is some very wealthy hedge fund operators in New York. It's going into its 5th season. I'm enjoying that very much now.
Nice.
So that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes.
I don't have Amazon Prime or Netflix, but I drove down to Olympia to catch Mrs. Maisel with a friend of mine. And I enjoyed her so much. It's colorful. The music is fantastic. The writing is witty and Susie as a character is caustic and delightful, although if you called her delightful, she'd punch you in the face. But I think one of my favorite things about Mrs. Maisel herself is that her kids are never a problem. They disappear when it's convenient. It's like, why didn't I have kids like that?
Tried that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I lived in New York. I lived in New York during that period, and it was a wonderful period. And of the 3 seasons, I like season 3 the most. It keeps on getting better and better. Yes.
It does. And the Johnny Mathis character was wonderful. Oh,
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes.
yeah. Love that too. Yeah.
What series are you talking about now? With Johnny Mathis?
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Great fun.
And it's
I'm
really fun.
watching. Go ahead.
Oh, hi. Go ahead.
I'm watching Upload. That's on Amazon Prime. It's a series that just started, I believe, last week. And what I read about it. In the future, people can upload their consciousness into a luxurious digital afterlife. So this happens to a young man who had an untimely death, and he was about to marry a very rich socialite and her family. So they wanted him to go into a very exclusive, fancy afterlife. But it's pretty compelling. I think you would enjoy it. It's called Upload.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. There is a Japanese director, Koreeda, 1999. He made a movie called Afterlife, where when you die, you go to this place and you are allowed one memory to carry with you into your next life. And you have to decide what memory that be. This project was over the moon about this. And I bought the DVD to watch it myself, but it won't play on the machine. So recommending it, pass it on to you guys, sight unseen. But if you see it, let me know what you think of it.
A mini series on Netflix of only 3 or 4 episodes is called Unorthodox. It's about this Orthodox Jewish woman who decides to abandon the oppression, and she moves to Berlin. It's fantastically interesting in that it gives you a view of this society that most of us know nothing. Very interesting, and it's only taking 4 or 5 hours to watch. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Absolutely, Richard. I couldn't agree with you more. It's absolutely so well done. The acting is excellent. The thing about it too is that the Hasidic Jewish community in Brooklyn gave it their thumbs up, saying that it was well performed, produced, or showed what they were really after, and it was very, very interesting. I agree with you. It's I told so many people, everybody I've talked to who's seen it has said it's just magnificent.
Nice.
And for even more insight about it, if you do a search on Unorthodox, you'll find that there are some other videos around on YouTube about the original woman whose life it portrays being interviewed, and background information about how they did it and why they are only going to do this mini series and not turn it into a larger project. The whole project is very, very interesting. Yes, indeed.
Excellent.
They had Deborah Feldman, who's the one who wrote
Yes.
wrote it, was interviewed on NPR not too long ago, within the last week or two, and talked about that as well, Richard. Yeah, amazing stuff.
I couldn't remember her name, but she's the woman who I've seen in other interviews also.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting.
What's her first name, Sheila?
Deborah.
Nice. All right. Cool.
There's an author, Elena Ferrante, who wrote 4 books. The first one is called My Brilliant Friend, and that's a series, and it's kind of gritty. It's Italy, and it's Naples area, but they made it into a film also. I've seen it on television. I don't know exactly where you get it. The 2 main actresses never did any acting before this series. Each of them is just fantastic, and it's really quite terrific.
Nice.
And entitled My Brilliant Friend.
My Brilliant Friend. Yeah, I've the book has been going through the book clubs here on the island for the past year or two. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
There's 4 books. There's 4 books in the series, but the film is just phenomenal and follows the book very carefully. The books, I should say. Another thing we've been watching, it's on PBS, and it's Escape to the Chateau, and it's so great. It's this British couple that bought a chateau in France. Do you know when? I don't know. As the story goes on, they have little children, babies really, and then the kids are like 4 and 5 now. But he's an engineer, and she's a designer. She looks like Bette Midler. She's got red hair, quite buxom, and the chateau is old, dilapidated, and so they're fixing it up. But it's just mind-boggling what they do. I see you nodding. Yes,
I love it. I love that show. I just feel so good when I watch it.
I know. And every bad problem they have to deal with, their default button is laughing. They just start laughing. It's just fantastic. I love it. It's Sunday night.
Yes.
What is the
I
name?
will look for that. Thank you.
Escape to the Chateau.
Escape to the Chateau?
Yes, or as they say, Chateau. Yes.
Yes.
I just
Chateau
love
and
that
Gala.
family. Yeah.
And they're both unbelievably talented people. Unbelievable. And they have these 2 little kids, and it's just phenomenal. Anyway, we love watching that.
Yeah, it's great. Wonderful show.
Mm-hmm.
What channel is it on?
PBS.
Canadian Broadcasting? Is it CBC?
It's PBS and on Infinity it's 109.
Okay,
Not
109. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice. Well, gang, shall we meet back here next week?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Would love it.
Bob,
Good.
will you be here next week? Good. So sorry, I still can't get Janet. Oh, my microphone to work. Hope TJ can join us again next week. I'll be here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
and I'll check with
be
Reed to
here.
see if I'm going to be here for this next week. but one of us will be here to keep this going.
Lovely. Lovely. Oh, you guys. Mwah. Thank you. This
Thank
was
you
so
so
much
much.
fun for me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Dave.
very much.
Oh, thank you, Richard. Thank you, guys. See you next
you.
week.